Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, fuck everybody, just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundries home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paula Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paula's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Good afternoon to at least half the world, right? The other half of the world, it's either an evening or I guess it's a third of the world. Oh my goodness. Hello guys. Second time in a row today. I missed you. But we're going to be talking about SAMI. If you guys were here for the morning segment, I said that there was going to be something I was going to show you that may or may not help exonerate SAMI Smith in our minds. So I'm not going to tell you too much because I know you guys are probably looking around and saying there is no way. There is absolutely no way that you could possibly have anything that could possibly exonerate SAMI Smith in any of our minds. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Maybe not. Maybe it's something that you guys say, not that big of a deal. Possible, right? But we're going to get to it. How many people believe, like we've got 400 people, almost, well, I guess a little over 350 people in the chat. How many people that are in this particular segment believe SAMI Smith has at least some hand in something related to Kiely Rodni and her death, her untimely death? I'm curious about that. How many people? And then I want to ask how many people. Okay, maybe I should wait for all these to come through before I ask my next question. So there's a lot of people that said it was her, the statements she made. It was the statements that she made. That's what did it in because the statements she made didn't make sense. Some people have told me that it's the photos where she has all the markings all over her. And so all these photos were passed around about SAMI Smith, and it showed, markings, and people blew them up, and, it appeared that it could potentially be bruising on her body. And those particular photos were passed around, not the entire, photo set. Like there was more than just that photo of SAMI Smith that particular day. How many people, does anybody realize that SAMI Smith had photos taken of her when she had no paint on her whatsoever? How many people knew that by a show of ones? That SAMI actually had photos taken prior to her ever putting that stuff on. Okay, so a few of you guys did. Well, I want to show you those photos. I think that SAMI Smith and security cameras. I don't think it was Kiely. I think it was Kiely because law enforcement said so. I know. Oh, it's hard to say that with a straight face anymore. Oh, reset. Sorry. I'm serious. It's just I can't help it. I just can't help it. I sit there and say, oh, law enforcement says this, law enforcement says that, and then we find. All right, I get it, folks. I get it. I get it. I get it. Sorry, like I'm literally tearing up over here. Okay. Anyways, getting. Where are the keys? Were the keys in the? I don't know if the keys were in the ignition. And actually, that is on my list because some of the stuff that goes to SAMI is her wanting to know because somebody came in here and said the whiteboard when they were doing the teen to teen meetings, apparently there was a snapshot or something. Quit laughing at me. I know I'm already laughing. I need to stay away from because law enforcement said so. Okay. I'm sorry. If anybody want to know why I put that intro in with Paola Miranda at the beginning as we come in here, it's to kind of showcase to the new people that are coming to this channel, what we do. I don't like being on this side of the screen. I like being out in the field. That kind of showcases some of the work that we've done. I love it, but it also showcases Paola Miranda. She still hasn't been found. She disappeared. I believe it was December 15th or December 17th. I can't remember. I think it was December 17th for some reason, 2021, after visiting out in a swamp, like, well, it was a reservoir or, reserve. So we don't know what happened to her. And I put that in there. So at least as people are coming in, and as the chat room is getting a little bit bigger, I want to make sure that her face is seen, which is a lot to do with it. Oh, thank you, little devil. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But that's really why I do that, is to showcase to the new people what we do, and also to showcase her. I'm hoping that I can get a couple more of these things done so we can showcase some of the newer faces that are coming on here. But we'll see how that all works out. Yes, thank you for the super sticker. I need to go see what it looks like. Yeah, I can't see it on my end. You would think I could, but I can't. And there it is. Aw, I love it. Back at you. Thank you. Thank you. That's really cute. It's really cute. So, but when we talk about SAMI, we talk about the paint and the bruising. I mean, that was a lot for some of the people, in addition to her interview with the Staples guy, right? And things just didn't make sense, especially as we were starting to come starting to get back information, especially from law enforcement, like the last ping of Kiely Rodni's phone being at 12:33. And it's 12:36 and I don't know why SAMI was so specific on that particular time, but we now know that it absolutely impossible for Kiely to use her phone to call SAMI to check on her to make sure she had a ride home, like SAMI's story stated. Many people picked up on that after we learned of this 12:33 phone went completely dead. But she never came out and answered what the discrepancy was, because she was adamant it was her. So it sounded like it came from her phone, not from somebody else's phone, or otherwise she would say, she called me at 12:36, but she was from another phone, but I know it was her. I spoke with her. She didn't say that. So it almost implied that she called from her own phone to SAMI Smith at 12:36, which we know is impossible. But getting to these photos, I actually found some photos. Oops, wrong one. This down. Just a second. I found some photos of SAMI that day that are in question. And here's the photo that's been passed around. Oh, God, burn it. When I do that. That has been passed around. I did it again. We're having one of those days. There we go. We got it. That has been passed around over and over again. And like her knees have been, they put this up and they're circling her knees and, this stuff right here. And to me, it almost looks like smudges. I don't know if this was before or after that they may have been out searching for her, which could explain some of this stuff, And so I was unsure about that. So I kept digging and kept digging. And then I found out that, can I swipe this way or swipe this way? I guess not. Hold on. Let me go to the next photo. I thought it would let me go. And so I started looking into other photos, and here's one right here. And you really can't see the knees too well in this. And I have to be honest with you, for this one, you really can't, see a whole lot of the knees. But for the most part, you don't see any bruising on her arms. You don't see any bruising down this one leg that had Kiely written down it. You don't see that huge dark smudge mark on it. Let me see if I can blow this up so you guys can see it a little bit better. You don't see the smudge marks on her, the bruising that people said that was on her legs. So, I'm wondering if that, this wasn't being passed around. The other one was being passed around to imply that she had these bruisings and these scrapes and scratches on her. But then when you see without any of the paint on her, earlier on, you see that that's not there. So, again, this is not the best shot of the knees that were in question. So, I kept looking and I did find one of the knees in question. And, here it is. And I've already got it blown up. You don't really see any bruising on her knees. None. And, I kind of feel a little, I just want to, I'm not saying that she doesn't have a hand in it. You guys know how I feel about this. But you guys know if I see something, I say something, and I see this. So I want to make sure that these photos are not part of the reason why you potentially think she's guilty, because here's some photos of her without all that paint and all the smudging, and you're not seeing the bruising, you're not seeing the scratches on her legs. I hope this was beneficial, but, big but. Now you guys know it's about to come. I did find something, right? Not any of the stuff. Well, I think people have pointed this out already, but it's not any of this other stuff with her legs and knees and stuff like that. It's actually her arm. Her arm, I can see something on it, but I can't tell what I see. Let's go back to this one. It's right up here. Let me put this in big. Let me pull this up. It's right up here. It's right there. It almost looks like a puncture mark or a bruise. It very well could, the kids out these days, it could be a puncture mark for all we know. I wasn't thinking about that, but I was looking at it and, it's kind of circular and it's kind of in the bend of her arm. So I guess it's possible. But anyways, you can see something here. I don't know what it is. It could be a tattoo. It could be a bruise. It could be something else. But I did see that. That is the only thing literally that I can find is this marking right here. And I think there might be a clearer copy of this on this one. Nope. Maybe this one. Yeah, there it is. I back it up. See? And you can see it much better. It almost looks, I don't know what it is, but it was there in this picture and it was there in that other picture. So let me see if I can blow this up just a little bit. Maybe you guys can see it. Maybe it's too blurry on your end. I'm unsure. But there it is. That's the only thing I can find on her from that day that could potentially mimic some kind of scratch or anything like that. So I don't know if it swayed you or not, but I wanted to make sure you guys saw everything to make a more informed decision. It doesn't change the fact she left her friend at a party. It doesn't change the fact that there are suspicious activities that she did after her reported friend went missing. So, and going over as we build this case against SAMI, I think some of the strongest evidence that we have is her herself, and some of the things that they were requesting. And many people are sitting here confused saying, why was she asking for this? I have huge info on SAMI. Sure. Do you want to come up? I can drop you a link. I hope, sir, I hope I said your name right. You can tell me when you get up here. But if you got some information, I'm definitely open to hearing about it there. I just dropped you a link. if you want to come in, that's just for you. And you don't have to worry. I mean, I can put my face on here. You don't have to worry about putting your face. Did we get a membership here? Did I forget about a membership? T. Watts, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm in my own little world here. You can't. Sorry. When it gets over about 500 people in the chat, forget it. I'm gone. I've checked out. No, I'm just joking. But hang on. Give me 5. Okay, yeah. You don't have to show your face. You just have to show you're a human being behind the set. But I'll let you know. I'm going to bring you up, and then you can turn your camera off if you so wish to. But definitely, oh, thank you. But definitely, okay. All right, perfect. Now, do you want your camera on or off? I'm going to bring you forward now. Okay. All right, dear. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So what's going on?
It may not be huge, but I think it's huge. I won't get into all that. This anime stuff, like what Upchurch was talking about. Well, Sammy's parents have got like $4.2 million government contracts with their investigation firm. And I can send you all the information on it.
Yeah, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Would love to read that. What kind of contracts are these? What kind of are they for slip and fall? That are, I mean, what would they be investigating for the government?
Some of it was like human resources stuff and like training people and stuff. Like, it doesn't even make sense. And I also heard, it might have been on that same place that like everybody around there lives in $1 million homes. Like, it is like, well,
I can only imagine. I mean, the Jane Doe 1 is talking about drinking in Spain. I can only dream of drinking in Spain. Hopefully one day before Bullhorn Betty dies, I will have a glass of wine in Spain.
Right. And then, I don't know if there's a cover up. I think things have seemed really strange about, just all of it seems so strange. And some of it leads to like a cover up. But, even the Nick, the guy, the car guy.
Yeah, we call him the tow truck guy, even though
because we know he didn't drive a tow truck. So I hate to mislead anybody into thinking that.
But that's his name now. I mean, nobody knows who he is unless you call him the tow truck guy, and they're like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah. So if you think about all these people being having a lot of money, and some of them having huge contracts with the government, it makes you wonder, like, because it's a small town. So is that little tow truck driver dude, is he kin to any of those? Because it almost seems funny. Like, didn't he just kind of see AWP when they rode into town and went over there to them?
Yeah, I think AWP has such a large fan base. I have to imagine no matter what state they go to, they're going to have a fan within close proximity. So I think this is one of the things where this guy realized, heck, it might have been the tow truck guy that actually reached out to Adventures with Purpose to notify him about this case to begin. I mean, we don't know how Adventures with Purpose,
Well, I think I've seen it on the very beginning where they rode into town and the tow truck driver just happened to see their van and stuff and went over there to him.
Oh, is that what happened? I thought they this was pre-set up, because they met at, I want to say it was in front of Best Buy, if I'm not mistaken. That was like literally the minute they got into town. Right.
Okay. Well, maybe I need to go back and listen to that again. But what also strikes me as funny is they were like they really put AWP onto the Boca, searching Boca, because they're like, here's where they were at, and here's where I had messed with their car. It's on the Boca side.
Right.
And, there's a lot of talk about why, how did anybody miss Kiely's car? They searched for what, almost 2 weeks?
Well, we're going to discuss that too, because there's a possibility that they never put divers in that area, that they just did flyovers and other search methods.
And just kind of went all around that area. Like,
yeah, but it doesn't seem like they deployed the actual, I mean, from what they're saying in that press conference, when you look at the black and white print of what they actually said out of their mouth, it doesn't sound like they had any divers in Prosser. But I had a gal early this morning that was on my live. I did a really early morning live. If you guys missed it, please go back and watch it. But I did an early morning live, and a gal was on this morning that basically said that they have confirmed that they were in Prosser, but they had like a buoy, and that was the 25 feet mark. But I remember the orange buoy actually being tied to Kiely's car in Prosser, but she's saying there was another buoy out there, and that was their 25.
There was another buoy before AWP got there. They had that buoyed off. I was watching that last night.
Okay, then she was accurate about that. Okay, so that's what she was saying, and
but
she was.
You can actually see it. I'm not just saying that. I'm not saying I heard this. You can see the buoy she's talking. Like, I can send you some videos. I want to send you one on the government, on the ties with SAMI and big government. Like, I mean, $4.3 million contracts are huge for an investment.
Thank you, Karen. That was cute.
Do what?
So, yeah, and so she said that they couldn't go out. Terry, I see you. Give me just a second, hon. They said they couldn't go out but 25 feet, and that they were really actually at that time only looking for the cell phone.
Right. They told them to go look for the cell phone, not the car, or not Kiely, but the cell phone.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then another thing, because I've watched some other people's videos. You know, when you want to go into a deep dive, you ought to deep dive that whole funeral thing that they had going on there at the for Kiely. Like, there's people out there in the background that's in cloaks and stuff. And then they had a cleansing station there. Like it seemed like it was.
We all have to understand there are different areas that just live differently. You know, they just are. Like, New York lives completely different than I was accustomed to. You know, there's people that live in the Midwest that live differently. I mean, look at Utah, the polygamy, and you know, I just think that there's just different places that just live a different lifestyle and are accustomed to it. Does it feel hot? Yeah. You know, I think if we knew what they were like before this case, I think we'd have a better understanding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know if I went to a funeral or something and it kind of looked more like a pagan festivities. I'm probably sure I'd probably leave. Or a cleansing station, like everybody be having to get in line for that, because I'm not sure what we're cleansing, but they probably.
Well, but, you know what? I guess you know, the sin is the skin, right?
Right.
So I guess we could all use some cleansing. So.
Right. Okay. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to
you take care. Thanks for that information. That was good to know.
bullhornbetty@gmail.com.
Yes, ma'am, and I will read it.
Took some screenshots, but there's also you'll see a clip. It's about on somebody else's station that you might not want to show, but I took some screenshots for you because I knew you wouldn't be able to watch the video right this second.
Right.
So I'll send the screenshots and the video that comes with it. That's where the screenshots come from.
Awesome. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Have a good, hey, and I just want to say, you and Olivia are such a class act. Like, I just got into you. I just found you all during this, and you're awesome. I really like you.
We've always worked really well together, and it was just, I don't know, I guess it was just one of those things that are meant to be. When something's meant to be, it's meant to be. And her and I we just work really, really well together. And actually, I don't want to say anything because I don't want to jinx it, but I'm so excited I can't help it. But her and I are actually talking about collabing on a more regular basis, and actually potentially setting up another channel just for her and I to collab and talk about cases. So we're kind of working on all of that right now. It'll only be like maybe an hour a day or hour every other day as we build the channel, you know, just something. But I think it'll be really cool. It's just something that we're kind of working on now.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And I had one more thing I meant to tell you. I'll get off here. I promise. I never call in.
You're good. We got some time.
Now I done forgot what it was. That did you watch that video of that Check It TV guy the last time he went out? Like it was a live he was going to do a couple nights ago. So he goes out there to look again for whatever.
Are you talking about where they thought it might have been Xana May's dog and Xana May?
Yeah. And that guy.
I've been hearing about that. I really haven't looked at the video yet, but I heard that I need to.
But then he come back, like he got off that live when these people approached him. Like when he pulled up, these people were there. Well, then when they started talking to him, they let him know they didn't want to be on film. So anyway, he got off. Well, he come back on, and he said those people. He's kind of odd anyway. I think that Check It TV guy is, but he was saying that those people were telling him some information, but they wouldn't tell him anything. Like, or they were asking Check It TV what all he knew, and he told them what he knew, but they wouldn't tell him anything. But they kept trying to get the Check It TV guy to go to Boca also.
And who's they?
Whoever these people are. Like that's why you need to watch
it. The audience was saying it wasn't law enforcement or somebody. Was it somebody that was out there personally? Was it somebody online? I mean,
no. He pulled up. The first video is where he had a premiere going on. So the first one he pulls up, and there's already a truck there, and he kind of pans his thing over there like, oh, there's a truck, and there was a dog out there already running around before he even got out of the car. So when he got out, he went over to the other side and let his dog out. Well, that's what everybody was talking. But everybody was talking about whether that was Xana May's dog. I don't know if it is or not. But just the interaction that he had with those people, like the first video, you probably that's where we know that they were already there when he got there. It's the last video he done that you need to go back and watch, and don't use his videos for anything because he got all this copyright stuff on there or whatever.
Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter. He's going to have to learn just the hard way unless you actually are willing to register at the copyright office.
He did.
Buddy. That's why we have to start registering our work, and we're working on it because, that's part of the process. I mean,
he did register it. It's on his community tab.
Well, to register each and every single, it's not just one, it's each and every single one of the videos have to be registered. The ones that you're going to be suing somebody for, you can't sue somebody without registering the video. So trust me, I know the process well.
Okay, well, I don't. So I just wanted you to watch it. I wouldn't want him to take Bullhorn Betty down. So that's.
No. We're more cautious about that, and I actually know how to apply the law correctly.
Awesome. But yeah, that's interesting because the way he on that last video he done, he acted like he talked to those people, and they were asking all kinds of questions, and I guess he was telling them what he knew, and that's what he says. Like I was telling them all that I knew. He said they didn't tell me anything, and they wouldn't tell me anything. Like I don't even know if he knows who they were. But anyway, he's odd anyway, but it's just something, and it's not a long video. So that's another video you should watch when you have time, as if you have nothing better to do.
I got all the time in the world. What are you talking about? I do anything. On the side.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get off here so I don't have
to. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, Terry. Thanks.
Hey there.
How are you?
Good. I couldn't catch your live this morning. I woke up just after.
It was way too early. I have to be honest with you. We're going through internal body time reset mode right now.
Oh, I know. But no, I was listening to I was the one who called in on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot has exploded since then.
Yeah.
I did misspeak when I said that I thought that other boat was out at Boca or Don or wherever it was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that it was at Prosser, but that they were only given instructions to only go so far out.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. But still, I mean, that's just insane. Like, they didn't give it. Everything was just all. It's like it was there, but just didn't. It just didn't. It
right.
just wasn't enough. It's like.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. And then I really didn't mean to start laughing when I said, the reason why I believe this is because law enforcement says so. And I couldn't help
that's funny.
laugh because I am so sick of talking about law enforcement in this case, and then just seeing all the major failures, and here we are trying to rely on them to tell us what's what, and it's like, what the heck do we believe anymore?
Right. And I went back to this morning and I was listening to a couple other press conferences that they did give. And they were really vague with their answers. They weren't real specific. Yes, we, checked this lake and we checked that lake. If they were asked about divers, of course they're going to say, yes, we had divers out there. Mm-hmm. They never said where, except for that one on the 22nd where he said, with the exception of Prosser.
Right.
But yeah.
Some weird language. And then we keep reading on that, which we stopped right after that because our minds were a little blown, and then I decided, well, let's see what else is in here.
Right.
What else is in here? We now know that they're saying, that they had, they didn't really have divers there, and they didn't, because if they could only go out 25 feet, they weren't really diving.
No,
they were looking for something specific. I don't know why they would limit their scope so much. It's like the place, it did look big right there, but for that being the place closest to the party, you would think that would have just been everything that they could possibly do. Search from one side to the other. You would think that they would do, because that literally was the last place she was seen alive, and then we find out she's only went out there. But when I keep reading through this, it says, I think it was relatively quickly. I don't know the exact time. Hold on. So they were talking about when Adventures with Purpose found her after getting in the water. Can you talk about what happened last night in terms of taking the car out? What kind of law enforcement was there, and what happened last night? Captain Sam Brown says, I think most law enforcement partners you see behind me were present during that time, trying to do the best they can for, you get to hear all these in here when you start hearing his nervousness when it's in black and white.
Right.
Ensuring that everything was done correctly, but everything wasn't done correctly.
No.
I think it was the worst freaking botched job for so much personnel, making sure everything went without a hitch. But what I found funny is when you go down just a little bit more to right about the 1354 area, you're reading on here, and it's basically they're blaming Placer County for the complete botched job. So once the car was located, the dive teams were assembled. I believe Placer County was probably still the primary dive team. Okay, Placer County. Well, you just got, this is on your shoulders now. They just put in your lap, like. So it was Placer County that effed this whole dive thing up.
Right?
Placer County. But it wasn't Nevada County, guys. So we got to give them benefit of the doubt.
Right.
Like, come on.
I know, the guy that called in and talked to, I think it was Brown. He actually, you probably know that he made a phone call questioning that photo. And the guy, don't know the phone number he called, and I didn't see him, whatever, but it sounded like he called into the sheriff's department, and he showed him sent him the picture, and he's like, oh yeah, there's a canoe. And it was as if he had no idea why they were there. But then the police officer called back and told him that, yes, whoever boat it was, I don't remember if it was Placer County, whatever county, borrowed the boat to volunteer divers, but they were given strict instructions to only go out 25 feet and to only look for the cell phone. And that's on video. You could actually hear him talking.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yes, they did have dive team there. They did have them in Prosser, but they were just looking for the cell phone.
Yeah, they were just looking for the cell phone.
That was their direction, was just to look for the cell phone.
It would be a lot easier to try to find than a cell phone.
Right?
Did they not? Did they not even consider that she was in that lake? I mean, you would think that they would, out of all the planning and 16 agencies, they would say, well, let's think about this. We need to start right here. Where's the nearest body of water? Oh, it's right there. Well, that needs to be checked thoroughly.
Well, and that's where it's kind of made me think that they were thinking along the lines of an abduction, because when does the FBI ever come in? And they were in like instantly.
But you know what? But see, back in the beginning of this, they said that they didn't believe it was an abduction, but they couldn't rule it out. And therefore, they're going to, imply that there was an abduction there because they can't rule it out to get the additional resources. So it was like they were almost playing this word salad with what kind of investigation this was, because they were trying to get the resources in. I think that area must be, I mean, even though there's a lot of wealthy people, the actual area must not be, maybe not tax funded well. And they needed those additional resources because they couldn't handle the level. I mean, this stuff costs money. You can't.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about, a major effort. I mean,
and my question to that would be then, okay, if they needed all these other agencies, why was there not an Amber Alert? The one guy said that it didn't meet the criteria for an Amber Alert. Well, if you're calling in the big guns, what does? What would qualify for an Amber Alert?
That's a great question. That is a great question. But I heard that it has to be, see, back in the day, it's like, the kids weren't disappearing at the alarming number that they are. So anytime a kid went away, disappeared, an Amber Alert would be found. But then we learned over time that a lot of these teenagers weren't really Amber Alerts. They were really runaway kids. So I think they felt like it was an abuse of the system or too much resource. It always comes down to time and money, right? So if there's too much resources for the government, they're going to find a way to skirt around it to make it easier, blah, blah, blah. Now we have to have 15 umpteen different alerts if somebody goes away, because it just can't be a broad alert that just says, hey, somebody's missing, be on the lookout. No, you got to have your silver alerts. You got to have your white alert. I mean, gosh knows what amber alerts. Who knows what colors we've got right now? Silver alert, blue alert, red alert, pink alert, purple alert. I mean, we gotta have multiple alerts that do the exact same thing. They ping your phone and say, "Woo, woo, woo! Somebody's missing."
I know it all goes off at one time.
I don't think any of us look to see if it's an amber alert, a blue alert, or a silver alert. We just look at the information.
I know it scares the hell out of me when it happens.
But whatever. I mean, when it comes to the government.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So no, I just wanted to call in and say, hey, I did misspeak on Friday, and yeah, it just gets better and better and better as you go.
Right. And guys, don't forget. Oh shoot, God burn it! I hate when that happens. I keep dropping.
You are having a morning, girlfriend, aren't you?
No, I keep dropping my vape. That's okay. We're doing so much. I'm moving at such a high rate of speed at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like these things are going to happen. But tonight, for all the people that are members, I am doing a special. We have never done a members only live before. And this is truly for members. That means if you're not a member, you're not getting in. You're not seeing the chat. You're not seeing the video. You're not doing nothing. This is for the members. We've had a lot of members in here that have been good members of this channel, that have been dedicated to this channel, that have, even when there was no benefit whatsoever of being a member, was a member to help support this channel financially, and God bless them. But we finally have enough people. We're doing a members only tonight at 6:30. It might be 7. Don't kill me, guys. I'm trying to get the timing right, but I might be a half hour late. So if I'm a half hour late, I'm sorry. I am coming. Don't freak out. I will be here. So between 6:30 and 7, we will be starting. We may start late, but we are starting.
Awesome.
So it's going to be.
And hey, if anybody that's out there, if you haven't hit that like button, you do that.
Please
thumbs up.
Yes, please do, because we need to be up there. I mean, we do. I mean, trust me, we work long and hard behind here to find stuff that's relevant to you guys. So we got to help. That helps us. That helps us. Get more people to look at our channel, which helps revenues, which helps everything. It makes the world go round.
Right. Yeah, I don't get much work done during the week because I'm too busy listening to you guys.
No, don't worry. I'm so busy listening to everything. It's hard to get everything done. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, Terry. I'm going to get to guidance, and we'll talk to you soon.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Thanks, Betty.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guidance, is that you? Show me your face. Let me make a there she is. What's up, girlfriend?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, not much. I'm doing good. Nice to see your bubbly face. How you been?
I'm good. Busy as can be. To say
Yeah,
the least.
I bet.
But it just hit me listening to her say that they were searching. I was replaying this morning because I was dead asleep. Finally, I got some sleep when you did the live.
I know, because I was just getting, I tried to go back to sleep, and at 3:00 when I couldn't go back to sleep, I'm like, screw it, this is the reset, and I have to, I complain about the reset, but it's part of the process.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of, they put the buoy out for the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about the huge ass truck 20 feet away.
True.
How could that was just, in my eyes, if it was 25 feet away, because they said it was 50 feet out, right?
55 feet out, they said that the car was. I think they said 55 feet out and 14 feet underwater, but this was 2 weeks later. So apparently, it might have been even longer than that, because if the water decreased 5 feet, then the water would have receded as well. So it may have been, you know what I'm saying?
Now,
so
would that have made the
water
recede
could have been
too?
further on the shore at the time she actually disappeared.
Right. So would that mean the car would have been closer to shore if it went down
further away? So as the water evaporates and decreases, the more it pushes out toward the car, where that whole area could eventually, from what I hear, completely dry up.
Right. I'm talking about in the beginning when they were
searching. Yeah, in the beginning when she disappeared, it was high, and it was further on shore.
That's what I'm saying. Is they were like
more in line with, 65 feet out from the shoreline at the time she disappeared, as opposed to 55. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I was trying to gauge, because I was thinking when it goes down, it would go more in with the current. When it initially went in, it was closer to shore. As it goes down, it would slide closer to.
But I wonder
the middle of the lake.
I wonder if it was because it was rolling, because Miss Robin actually, her and her husband did this overlay one time. I've got it, but I don't want to look for it right now, because I can't remember where it's at, and it'll take me forever because I got a lot of stuff on here. But she did an overlay of the place, and you could actually see a ridge like under the water. You can't see it without this transition, but you see this defined ridge. And I think, it's all at an angle. So I have a funny feeling the car actually rolled out until it hit that ledge. And then when it hit the ledge and filled up with water, that's when it did the roll and the landing on its roof. I think that was just enough out there further than what we thought it should be.
Right. And that's why I was thinking, if they were searching out to 25 feet and it was originally that close, they probably were right on top of it. And they were looking for a little cell phone.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to
right with that whole story. And like, I can understand if they didn't have the divers out there and they only did like the helicopters, because, with the glare on the water and stuff, I could see how they could have missed it. I could see how they missed it that way. But if they physically had divers in that water or any kind of sonar in that water and missed it, I don't know.
It sounds like it was intentionally missed, because they're looking for something that's maximum 5 inches, 6 inches by 4 inches. That's being to the extreme. But yet miss a 12-foot by 6-foot car. That's what gets me, is especially if they're diving and using sonar to look for all the little things. It's like looking for the needle in the haystack, but forget that big haystack next to it.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've got other thoughts in my mind about this, but
yeah,
I didn't want to keep it too long. But
so, and we're still building the case with SAMI, but I think SAMI, by the way, Annette, thank you so much for your love and support. We love you from this side of the pond as well, all the way from Australia. Thank you so much for showing the love. But we're building the case against SAMI as to why many of us believe that she's responsible for this. And the photo of her, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if that really states, really helps or hurts her case, because again, we just saw her without paint on her, and a lot of those markings that were identified to us as scrapes and bruises and stuff aren't there. So I don't rely on that, but I can rely on other things like her jumping on the mics, before the first press conference to let everybody know they're having teen-to-teen meetings, and they don't want the parents there. They just want to get as much information, which didn't appear to be sanctioned by law enforcement, but law enforcement allowed it to go forward anyways. And, her getting all that information, all the evidence, her talking, the whiteboard had Kiely's keychain, gray hoodie, necklace, and people are even asking about Sammy's brother, whether he was there at this party. And then you've got, all the videos and photos being filtered with her. What was the point in her pointing out the fact that Kiely had a belt on? She's stating she received a call from Kiely 3 minutes after her phone stopped working for its final time. She implied that they drank and ingested all of the same things, but yet we're hearing from witnesses, primarily Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2, that state with specificity that they weren't together very much, if at all. They never saw the two of them together, yet Sammy's account of the events state that they were almost inseparable that night. And then we have Sammy mentioning there was that she was fighting with somebody that had bullied her. Unconfirmed allegations that Sammy came home wet. Allegations that Sammy had cuts and bruises on her, which we kind of disputed in part because we are talking about there is some kind of mark on her, the bend of one of her arms. So that's really kind of the case that I put together. I know you helped with some of these things on here as well. What else do you think we can add to this list of things that kind of help seal the deal as to why we believe Sammy is responsible in some part of Kiely's death?
Well, one of them is I really went over and deep dived her talking about drinking out of the same drinks, and one word stuck out to me. We swapped drinks.
The what?
So even
what is it? What is it? I didn't catch that. What? I'm turning my volume up.
That they swapped drinks.
Describe what that means and what that is, because I don't know what it is, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people in the audience that don't understand what that is.
She was basically, when she was saying we are sharing drinks, or we swapped drinks, we traded drinks.
Oh, swapped. I thought there was some other,
yeah.
I thought you said something else. So swapped, SWAP, PPED. Yeah, swapped. Okay, yes. Got it. Sorry.
Yeah. And that word stuck out to me because, as many people know, if there was allegations that she very well could have been drugged. Now, if anybody's been in that situation, you pretty much go black out. Whether or not you're physically moving around or doing anything, you're black out.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives me even more thoughts along the line of roofie, if that makes sense. Because who would swap drinks? She corrected herself, and we were sharing and drinking out of the same drinks. That was just covering up swapping, and she very well could have said, "Hey, here's a drink," and that was their interaction.
But is that plausible? Because Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 did let us know that Kiely was intoxicated way early on at the party, implying she either was intoxicated before she arrived at the party, or that she ingested something that helped speed her intoxication level right along, like a substance of something other than say marijuana. But with it being so early on in the party, I can't imagine her not saying this isn't right. It seems to me like that's the reason why I think she did it to herself, to be honest.
But also, there's another speculation. This is my speculation station. I go through different theories, but then this is also where I went down the theory.
I'm just turning my camera off. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're good. A theory of if she was, and she was anticipated to be a part of the fight club, she very well could have had something in her drink and not realize it, just so there was no argument over who won the fight. That's just one theory I've been pondering in my mind as well. The game pet sitter, the gamer pet sitter.
Sorry about that. I had to
You're okay.
do something. Yeah. All right. Let me get my camera back on. So, seems to me they were more interested in the phone than Kiely. Why? Did they want to erase possible evidence? Can't help but to think that. You know, there's a lot of things that I don't think people can help to think at this point in time. It's this this case
That isn't far
weird.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
That isn't far-fetched, especially if they're letting all the evidence go and filter through the kids first.
Who would have thought? I mean, what law enforcement thought that was? I guess at the time, you know, hindsight's 2020. They didn't expect her to be in the bottom of a lake. I mean, I think at the time they really did believe that she was going to come back home, maybe injured, you know, in a wreck somewhere. But they still were holding out hope that they were going to find her. So you can imagine everybody's surprise when she's sunk in a lake and not coming home. So, I mean, I don't know, but it's hard to think law enforcement is on top of it because they haven't been. I mean, it's been so.
But then that makes you think of what the lady before me just said is Sammy's parents have multiple government contracts, which I did do a deep dive on them.
Mm-hmm.
And they are PIs and they do have up-to-date lawyer licenses throughout from Truckee to Reno and criminal defense. They basically do everything under the sun.
Yeah.
With their PI as well.
Well, they probably
So it's like
they must have a decent size firm because I'm looking at the gal before was just gave it. I'm not putting this up there, but I am looking at this that, you know, it is legit. Like this Sierra Tahoe investigation is got some substantial backing here.
Yep, and there's names that are associated with it.
Yeah, I mean, substantial backing. Like I'm looking at one that says funds since 2001, $8.8 million.
Yeah, I was looking up that last week when I was in the hospital and doing a deep dive on them. And there's a lot of.
And it's for a federal contract too.
And coming from Flint, you know how I feel when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But look at Hawkins County too. Many law agencies have dropped the ball depending on who has
Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what? It's sad because, you know, when we have these cases that have all these hiccups and everything in them, the number one reason for them is the mistakes law enforcement made. And, you know, remember that I told people, you know, everybody's holding these law enforcement agents as superheroes. You know, they're human. They make human mistakes all the time. And, you know, do they need to be crucified over it? Probably not. I mean, it's an error. You know, people make mistakes. That's part of the human element. You're never going to have perfection. You strive for perfection. Should you stop striving for perfection? Of course not. But the idea that you kill me when you pop in.
I dropped myself out trying to sit down. Sorry about that.
I thought I was boring you. I was going to say screw you, you know.
I'm dropping. So then I was thinking of when it comes to whoever's in their pocket, because if I resonate with my situation in Flint, the state DA basically told us we need security. We cannot be alone. Don't go anywhere alone. And my mom just looked and was like, I'm never alone. My husband's with me. My daughter's with me. She wasn't getting the hint. And then they flat out boldly had to say, no, you need security at this point because your phone lines are tapped, cameras, the whole house was bugged, and we were being followed. Yeah. So if the state is backing that up back in the 90s, it's probably only gotten worse, but more sneaky, you know? And that's why I always side-eye Hawkins County, is because of my own experiences with corrupt law enforcement.
Right. So, and there's stuff everywhere, but you know, it just comes back to, we all know where Dolly Vision stands on this, and he's talking about Xana May and what would bring her into a case like this. You know, this is a woman that has some kind of government connections, and you know, introduces young professionals with governmental entities, as well as you know, the military or you know, private, like Lockheed Martin, you know, type stuff, government contracts. And then this person here has government contracts with Sierra Tahoe. Is this the person that Xana May is coming in to be the cleaner for? You know, we're hearing that.
I think it could be the opposite, honestly. If it's showing her connections with the presser, I told Miss Robin I wouldn't say my theory right now, but I'll just lay it out there. Because I was mopping the floor before I jumped on live. And so I'm like, Robin, what do you think? But it's basically, you know how they've tagged her and the lady who ran all the press conferences together, whether they're photoshopped or not. Just putting my speculation station out there. What if she specifically knew that Prosser was not being searched, and she just dropped it in the air, kind of like my relation to Brian Laundrie? I knew where he was at, was specifically being avoided. You know what I mean? Because I've said that since day one. I knew people who were searching. I knew people that go home pissed because they couldn't search where they wanted to search, and that was where he was located.
Yeah.
Because the higher ups said no.
I myself in the butt for not going further back there on Powerline Road. We were close. Olivia was even closer. I think Olivia got like literally within 500 yards or 500 feet of where he was finally found.
Yeah, he was super close to you guys, and they specifically avoided it and blamed it on the water, which there was no water. And I remember some of my buddies would come home and super mad because
I try to tell
like, we haven't. Go ahead.
I try to tell people that there wasn't the water, that there was no chest high water. Brian did not swim out where he was found. He walked out there, and in the rivets of the trail, yeah, there was some ankle high water, but nothing like what was described by law enforcement to the general public.
Well, in Florida, they also have to realize that when it does downpour, it will raise up really high and then it recedes really fast.
Yeah, we were out there since Jonathan showed up there in front of that house on the September 17th. I arrived on September 18th. Like we were
in the first night.
Every day.
The first night of the protest, it started raining. I remember that specifically.
Yeah, but it wasn't just that hard. It actually rained really hard on the, I want to say the 15th was the last real hard rain.
And so if it was there, it would have gone up and then receded really fast, because I used to be on the Parks and Recreation Board for Myakkahatchee and Appalachian City. And so it's all known as swampland. That's why they never produced much on it or drag their feet on producing anything on there because of the land. But where he was at, it would have receded up maybe for maybe an hour, like it does everywhere else, and then just go into the streams where it normally does. And it was just, they were so mad because they intentionally, the higher ups told them, no, we're not going that way. And they went to go search other places 10 times over.
Yeah.
But with SAMI, it definitely gives me the suspicion of, between her family being who they are, her being one of the main POIs, her putting herself forefront into everything, and also the one thing that she remembered out of all the swapping of the outfits was the belt, tying in with Nick and him claiming they questioned the belt. It's just looking hindsight at all the little red flags that are coming together.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to wrap our head around how he would have those details at the time he met with Adventures with Purpose. You know, so it does kind of give a hint of, you know, knowledge. In what knowledge is that? I mean, we don't know if she was found strapped in or bound or anything like that. We're assuming that because we saw a strap hanging out of the back of the vehicle. But what if? Then, you know, it's the one piece that I said didn't fit. But with Jane Doe number 2 coming out and saying that it's possible that she was alive at 1 a.m., I mean, me personally thought at 12:33, that's the timing from the 12:30 exit to the time her phone went off. That's enough time to sink a car. And that made sense to me. Now you're throwing in that she was alive past that time. And, you know, this tow truck guy's story comes into play, and it makes you wonder. Because in Jane Doe's story, Jane Doe number 2, she talks about Kiely walking away and saying, I have a ride. Who was her ride? Was it Sammy?
And then also that was also another one, the knee-jerk reaction of the social media posts of she's not imposter. It wasn't confirmed. She was so vocally against her being found right after she was found that was my initial red flag.
Right.
Also, because how could you deny somebody was not found if you don't know where they're at?
But people brought up about how when she gave that interview, she corrected herself from saying I was driving to I was in the passenger seat, and everybody thought that was odd. Why did she have to give that convincing language? And people question that. Now it makes you wonder, was she in fact driving? And if she was driving Kiely's vehicle? Was she the one that wrecked it? Was it an accident? Was it Sammy's accident?
Yep. And I also think she is over giving information, or over giving, how do you say it? She's over explaining herself, which is another red flag, because she's trying to, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Like, she is trying to
convince people,
but put herself out of the situation by putting herself into
herself. It's distancing and convincing language. For those that have not yet liked this segment, please thumbs up and throw in the chat where you're from, what state, country, or county you are from when you like the Bullhorn Betty channel.
Inspirational. I think it was a AAA or a roadside assistance 1-800 generic number. It wasn't a specific number company that they called.
Okay,
that they mentioned anyways.
So inspirational. It says that, are you the one that just sent me this photo of her? What does that look like? Does that look like a bruise, a tattoo, a marker? It looks like it almost could be a marker, or her. It almost looks like it's the T from team. It almost looks like it's transfer from the ink. Because if you look at it, it almost aligns with the T from team member.
Can you share it?
Photo, yeah.
That's another thing, is the writing on the shirt matches the writing on the little tiki bar too. The same type of ink.
Oh yeah, yeah. No. She's got her hands all in the Kool-Aid in this case. I think, and that's what I said. Even the haters, the people that don't like us, like what we do. I think we are all in agreement that we all believe Sammy has some type of a responsibility here, without a doubt. So here, let me show you this. So this was just sent to me. Let me pull this down. Sorry, guys. I see you guys writing all your states and stuff in. I'm sorry. I got onto a tangent. I'll come back to you guys in just a second. But here it is. Here's the photo. But what I'm seeing here, and tell me if I'm wrong, it looks like a T. It looks like she's got transfer from the T on the team. It looks like a T. It doesn't look like it's even a scratch. I was thinking it might have been a bruise or a puncture or scrape or scratch, but now that I'm looking at it blown up, it looks like it's ink transfer.
Either ink transfer from the t-shirt or the tiki bar.
Yeah, because you can see a perfect T. But if her arm wasn't right here, I wouldn't have made that determination, because you can see the
Did you ever notice her shirt though, right where the charm is?
Yeah, I heard that's another some kind of guy. I can't remember.
Daniel Robinson.
Yeah.
I zoomed in pretty close on that one.
Yeah, I remember they told me that. And what the significance.
I wonder if this was the first day. Well, because they do a lot of, well, being her parents are investigators, I wonder if they have their hands into that investigation.
Yeah. But now that I see what this mark really is on her arm, now she doesn't have any marks on her. She has no bruising, no scratches, no punctures, nothing. The
only thing under that T, under the line that could go as like a little fingerprint right there. Yep. That's the only thing that would look like it. But they've also mentioned her bracelets.
Yeah, but even that color is still the same color as the ink above. So it could technically, and it just, I mean, and even if that was the only mark on her, I don't think that would be a big enough mark to say that she, was in that car, or, got scrapes as she's trying to get out of the car. Those are the types of things that were being implied when they were looking at these bruises and stuff. And it's kind of upsetting, because when I looked at these photos, they were all together. It wasn't like they weren't all together. It's just somebody picked that one photo to drive a narrative. And, I want, if we're going to be angry at her and think that she's responsible, we want to make sure that every bit of information we have about her is factual. And if people are driving the narrative that she was cut up, bruised, and scraped up, she wasn't.
There's multiple people in chat saying, look at her fingernails. Is there a picture of her fingernails? I don't see how we can zoom in and see her hands there, except for just her thumb.
Yeah, but even if it was her fingernails, if her fingernails were dirty, that still doesn't say anything. The whole reason why, in my opinion, they were talking about the scrapes and the bruises is because it implied that she had either, one, been in an altercation of some sort, or two, she tried to get out of a sinking car through a broken window and got scraped and cut. And I'm just saying that's, we're looking at all the photos of her that day. And if she was scraped and cut, we would have seen them when that paint wasn't on her. We've seen multiple photos with no paint on her, and we're not seeing those scrapes, cuts, or bruises.
Right.
So does this mean that she's innocent? It doesn't. But, it's something that if people were relying on those photos as to why she was, maybe this has changed somebody's mind, because she's not cut and bruised. So I don't know. That's just, we want to make sure that the factual information's out there. Does it change my mind? Am I still team foul play? I'm still team foul play. Do I still believe that SAMI Smith has some kind of responsibility here? 100%. I absolutely still believe that. These photos and seeing no bruises or scrapes or anything on it didn't sway me from believing what I believed prior to the photos. So just my 2 cents.
Did you see Cotton Candy Boob's video that she posted?
No, I haven't seen anything.
It's of them joking around and putting a kid with their hands together in the back of the car and shutting the trunk.
That's a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I just dropped the StreamYard link for those. If anybody else would like to come up here and join us or give us your 2 cents and what you feel and all this good stuff. I got to try to find it so I can pin it. There it is. So I can pin it at the top. We'll pin it at the top for just a little bit. For about 45 minutes, we'll have some time to chit chat. So what did it? You're the one that originally sent me my bullet points of like 15 or 14 things that we thought were red flags. Now, a few of those things did actually come off the list. For example, the SAMI Venmo, that came off the list. The possibility of Nate C, being the ex, that came off the list. We had just a couple other things that just came off the list, but for the most part, the list has been intact on what has been very suspicious in SAMI's behavior. What would you say is the most notable for you as to why you feel SAMI is responsible? What was the one major thing for you?
When you stepped away, that was what I was about to get to, because I have one of my friends from high school when we used to do Fight Club, our own little Fight Club back in Mayaca Estates. And he was more into the rougher crowd, but he would always host the Fight Club parts. He'd bring his gear and everybody would have fights. So I was going to have him as kind of reference to, because they'd actually have legit fights or they'd just have play fights. And I thought that would be a good reference to what's going on right now. But the thing is when she said she swapped drinks, that could have been once, that could have been in the beginning of the party. And also if she was saying there was no arguments about the fight this year, I think Kiely very well could have been drugged in the beginning just to prepare for the fight if she was meant to fight that night. That's just one of my theories, because then it's an easy win.
Yeah,
that's just one of them.
Gotcha.
It's just the verbiage.
All right, hold on. Let me go ahead and we're going to get to Kimberly first, and then we'll get to you, Frog. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Kimberly.
Hi, Betty. I just wanted to just question one thing here about this whole investigation. This incident, whether it's an accident or foul play, happened in Tahoe National Forest at Prosser Lake National Campground. Why is state or local police even involved?
Yeah, they are. It's just
But constitutional law says that the government should be handling this, not state or local. They have no jurisdiction in a national forest or national park.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
agree.
constitutional law.
But it might also be that the reservoir itself may not be classified as that.
No, it's under the reservoir also. Absolutely. It's national, it's reservoirs, it's national property also.
Gotcha.
The US
That's why the
government
FBI
should be
jumped in.
handling this. That's why FBI jumped in right away, but I don't understand why they handed it off to state and local police.
Yeah, it's an odd case, and they should be taking it because this is just a nightmare and a mess and a PR nightmare at minimum.
That is the thing that has got me. So my nephew's in the Coast Guard, and they get called out to these kind of things when things happen in national lakes. They bring the Coast Guard in. They never brought the Coast Guard in to search anything. I don't get how they would have volunteer divers. Once they started deciding to use divers, they should have kept Coast Guard.
Yeah, but even if they didn't use divers, they should have prevented them from going out past a certain footage. I mean, that's stupid. That was just stupid. I mean, just a lot of stuff.
I think one reason why they had to prevent them was the fact that it is a national reservoir and it is open to the public. That's considered public land so many feet out. Yeah. So if they went any further out into the reservoir, it would have had to be Coast Guard searching then.
Gotcha.
The fact that it's a national reservoir, it's a national park, it's in a national forest. That's the thing that gets to me I see it all the time with my nephew. They get called out to these things, and no federal agency other than the FBI was called in. First off, the park rangers were supposed to be the first people to step in, and then when they need help, they're supposed to call. The government sends in like Coast Guard and their agents, and I don't get it. This is like
They're and we need to look at that. We need to look at the processes and make sure the processes were followed. It just seemed like they were desperate for something. I don't think
they were desperate, but it doesn't matter now. Whatever information they find, soon as if they arrest somebody and this goes to court, that's right there is going to throw the case out.
Not necessarily.
because they have no
My background's
jurisdiction.
law. There's ways around it, but it's more difficult. There's no doubt.
It's going to be difficult. This is going to cause a problem in the future that this happened in a government property.
They had chain of custody issues with the evidence. I mean, of course, it's going to cause some problems, but hopefully they'll be able to clear it up.
Right. Okay. Well, I just wanted to put that out there. I just thought that was something that really needs to be looked at more, and maybe the government needs to step in when that I don't get any of it, honestly. It's just, this whole thing is ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
The whole thing. But thank you for letting me share my thoughts on this.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Kim. Come back anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I hit you off too soon. Sorry, Kim. Thank you so much. Okay, T. Watts, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up, and then Frog, you're up next. So let me go ahead and unmute you. And of course, he stepped away. So there he is. There he is. Hey, how are you? What do you have to add to all this?
So my thing is Jagger left Napa at 8 in the morning. So let's just go to facts here. The mom didn't know Kiely was missing or reported to anybody she was missing until 9 in the morning. So there's a huge fact right there. Why did Jagger leave Napa at 8 in the morning if it wasn't reported to him that she was missing till after 9 a.m., which her mom, I forgot her name, said that around 9 to 9:30, that's when they said in that they started looking for Kiely or started putting it out there.
Well, I have to think that when mom woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning and realized Kiely wasn't there, she probably called, the first people she thought of, which are probably Mags, Kate, and Jagger. Those are probably some of her first phone calls. So he probably knew early in advance that she was missing prior to 9:30, I would presume.
Thank you.
Bullhorn, can you do me a favor?
That doesn't click. Maybe Mags.
You're coming in. You're breaking up. You're coming in and out.
I said maybe Mags, but you think she would call her ex-boyfriend at 8 in the morning that hasn't been dating with her for 2 or 3 months? I don't know.
They were just with each other the day before in Nevada.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kiely and Jagger.
It just seems a little fishy. And then her supposed to be in the campground anyways. So if your mom calls you at any time and says she's missing, you're gonna hop in your car and just dip out right then, 4-hour drive. I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah. It just doesn't sit with me right. That you're the first. You're already out there. No one she was partying. She could have been with a guy and stayed at a guy's house by 9 in the morning. Unless you really knew something, why are you all hopping in a car and saying she's missing? Everybody's saying she's missing. It's only 8 or 9 in the morning. The next day after she partied till midnight, drunk as fuck. You would think that there's a high possibility she could have went home with a dude, slept with a dude, and then was gonna go home in the morning.
But we don't know what SAMI was telling the family, because SAMI was the one feeding everybody all the information about Kiely that night, because nobody.
That's my point.
Supposedly.
That's my point. They know more than they're saying. There was more already talked about between that friends of group. They already knew what happened. That's why everybody was on the way looking for her already at 8, 9 in the morning before Mama got up and threw a big fit and said, we got to go find her. That's why I see it as, is that everybody was already cohingles. You know what I'm saying? This shit was already flowing.
Yeah. What do you think, T. Watts?
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, Frog. Come back anytime.
It's all really insane, but I've been watching so much different things that circle, and I try to make sure that I'm getting the information from credible sources. And for the most part, some of it, has been debunked, whatever, but something new that I just heard this morning, I don't know if anyone else has. I think it was All American Cartel. I'm not sure how credible they are, and I could have seen it somewhere else. But I'm wondering if you have heard of it, or is anyone investigating it. So the story is that Jagger and Kate both are actually living with Kiely's mother. Have you heard that?
I have heard that, yes, and there's been enough people that said that Jagger's staying with mom to say that I haven't corroborated it, but there's enough noise to say that that's most likely true. But this is the first I've heard about Kate also staying there, but I definitely knew Jagger was staying at the lodge with mom.
Yeah. I had heard the rumors of that, but then when I heard that Kate was also staying there, to me that's just red flags all the way around. And I'm wondering how true that is, if you're going to try to dig deeper into that to find out the validity of that or not.
Especially with all the noise coming. I mean, I don't think it would be a good look if both Kate and Jagger are staying with her mom, especially with all the information and rumors that are floating around about their, potential illicit affair that they've had between themselves. Nobody's coming
Exactly.
out to dispute that or denounce it or say, yeah, but in all fairness, private business, people just will avoid it altogether. It's
Yeah,
nobody's
right.
business. But, I would still think it was odd with the rumors going around right now.
Exactly. And I'm wondering if they're getting it from some of that video from where you could see someone was getting out of bed, and I guess it got confirmed it was Kate. And then
I've heard
because
about it, but nobody
Jagger,
sent me this video. Nobody sent me this mind-blowing video. I've heard about it, but I've never seen it.
I actually saw it. I need to go try to see if I can find it, and I'll email it to you by going back and looking through my, your library of videos that you've seen. I did see a clip of it. It wasn't very long.
Right.
It did, in fact, look like Kate. I will say that. But a lot of those kids, they all dressing alike, and they have the same fashion and hairstyles, etc.
Everything, yeah.
Right. But it did look very much like her. So yeah.
And you would think that they would have came out and said, that's not me. I don't know who did that, but we did
it's
hear,
like crickets.
Yeah, we did hear somebody say that when they were asking Kate about it, Kate was more concerned about what they had in their possession, what was it, who it came from, more so, and never once denied it ever happening. And
right. And so yeah, I'm gonna try to go through and see if I can find that. If I'm not mistaken, I saw that video maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and then I saw the clip, the video talking about the two of them staying with Kiely's mom now, and I was like, ooh, that don't look good at all. So let me see if I can dig that up. And
if you do, I'll play it. I'll play it on air.
Yeah,
just
for sure.
Have the perspective and gets the info, but
right.
Make the decision for themselves. It kind of sucks, but why are these kids? I guess kids, teenagers are teenagers, teenager hormones.
Yeah.
We all forget about them. The older we get, the more we forget about them. Of course.
Exactly.
So,
all right. Well, I just wanted to question that and maybe see what people can dig up from that angle. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up, who is it? United Beauty. You just clicked yourself off. I was just about to bring you up, but it just, something happened with your mic and your video. You might have to fix that before I can bring you up. But I did see your face, so I can bring you up as soon as you fix your mic and stuff. There's Justice Girl. I see you, my friend. He was up with me at 4:00 this morning. You must have went to sleep because I was having a conversation with myself.
He was texting me at 4:00 in the morning.
I know.
I got his text though.
He's like, you had a late night. I'm like, no, I just have a very early morning. Late night to people, that implies I didn't go to sleep, but early morning implies I slept and woke up because that's what I did. I just can't go back to sleep after a certain point. After so many hours of sleeping, I'm done.
Like that one night I was live and you were just waking up.
Yeah.
So the living and lifestyle of the parents, I'm very familiar with. There's some that are very extreme. There's some that are moderate, just like every type of lifestyle.
Right.
And the way her last statement spoke, it made me think as if she knows what happened, and that's why she wants to let it rest. And she's kind of forgiven what has happened and became Mother Bear. So that's just one theory I've thought in my head because of being familiar with the environment, and the way she worded her statement made me question. She knows something.
Her statement was condemning anybody that came out and helped. They came to YouTube for help. They asked for a service. YouTube provided a service successfully, by the way, and everybody was condemned on here, including the people that actually went out and put an end to this nightmare for her family. And I just felt it was just, but we have to, we are all trying to say, people have to grieve. But I would think at this point, she's had time to calm down. And at this point, she could be, come out and said, I'm really sorry. I just wanted to thank all the people that came out for my daughter, including Adventures with Purpose, just something kind. She's pointing the finger at everybody else, telling people to be kind while she is spitting venom. And it's like, she's not getting it. Like she wasn't being kind in the same sentence, in the same breath that she's telling everybody else to be kind in. It was an odd scenario, but we're going to give mom the benefit of the doubt. She lost her daughter. I personally could never hug the neck of somebody that I think could have injured my family. And I'm going to say family with a broad brush because some of my family are friends that are more family to me than my own blood. So I encompass all of that. My family. My family includes my friends. And I just couldn't do it. If somebody killed one of my family members, I would want to know what happened. Would I forgive? I would have to forgive them for myself to survive. I know that because of the experiences I have by harboring hard feelings that almost took my life because I was drowning myself to hide the feelings. So yeah, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. I would want to know before I let somebody in. You know what I'm saying? Like I've got trust issues as is. And so when you let somebody in, you know what I'm saying? If I was this raw and my child was missing, I don't think I would let anybody in until I had a very, very clear understanding of what happened to my child. And
I'm the same way, but in the same sense, I see it as the namaste, the way she worded certain things that I interact with certain people. Not necessarily do I have the same thought process or agreements, but it makes me question the way she was saying, let's search. Now put it to rest.
Yeah.
And that's the only theory that I could think of as legit is they came to her and told her, or she knows more than she's saying. And that's the only option of let it to rest, because any mother out there wants the answer, except for, let me take that back, Roberta Laundrie. Every mother wants the answer.
No, Roberta Laundrie wants to let people find her son, and then she wants to come out in black clothing and a black veil. It was the most despicable thing I've ever seen in my life. Couldn't get her out of the house for 5 freaking weeks to go cooperate with law enforcement or go help find her son. But good Lord, 15 minutes later, they find their son. She's running home to change into a black veil.
That was such a setup.
Don't get me started.
Pull out the machete Betty, Roberta.
I know. Machete Betty is coming back into style.
The ass will be coming out to play.
By the way, if you guys don't know, Guidance in Life was with me, but for both my Machete Betty poses as well as my ass intro.
I loved it.
You're going to be like ass intro to the people that don't know. It's a video I did. I'm going to play it. Stay tuned.
Yes. I love
Andrea, aka Bullhorn Betty here. Look what I found. It looks like a lot of people on YouTube. Right here. Right here. This is a real ass right here. Like many people on YouTube. All you need to do is show an asshole a little love. Right? Right? Tell him. What you need to do? What you need to do? Huh? What you need to do? Oh, too many assholes on YouTube. Say it. Say it with me, baby. Say there's just too many people. Too many people on YouTube that look like you, huh? So the next time you want to be an ass, maybe you should come out here and hang out with the ass. Just saying. You want to be a jackass? There's your brother. Peace out. Bullhorn Betty style.
We love the ass video, and I noticed some people left. It has the repelling effect that we need.
So if you ever see me comment in Machete Betty style in chat, that is why.
Yes.
Why.
We went full Machete Betty out at the water hole in Rogersville, Tennessee.
Man, only if I could have stayed a little bit longer there.
I know, the good old days, the good old days. We did have a good time for such a sad event. I'm glad it wasn't so melancholy. And I mean, the event itself was a highs and lows, especially when that young girl got on the mic and just let her poor heart just out, let her purge. And she seemed like she felt better when she left. So God bless her. I hope she's
Summer's
doing
my
well.
angel.
Mm-hmm. So we had a good time. I think the best part of it was the hot mess of the lanterns.
Yeah.
Those lanterns were so funny.
Actually,
watching everybody run around, try to light them. Nobody knew what the hell they were doing.
What had me in tears was watching Justice on 2 times when I jumped into his live. Watching him on 2 times explaining and watching his handshake, trying to get it off and giggle. 2 times, 2 times speed. That was freaking golden. I loved it.
Yeah.
Justice, if you hear me, well, I probably already told you this. It was priceless watching you reenact because I was in the truck trying to charge my phone and do a live because my phone was pretty much dead because we were blocking the traffic. But it was priceless sitting on the outside watching everybody jiggle and try to get it up there and not have the pines burn down. Yeah. But I'm still shocked that we're like one of the only people that actually stayed in Beach Creek.
Yeah, you guys were, but you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know if I was having major issues with the GPS. Like, remember, I think we had to drive back to your pad like 5 freaking times to get the GPS because I kept clicking it off.
We're like, somebody's pulling up. Oh, disconnected to the Wi-Fi. Okay.
I had to hook up and then I'd go down and I'd hit a button. I'm like, damn it! How did I do it again? And turn around, drive back. I need GPS. Because once you get the GPS on the phone, it's on the phone as long as you don't click off. It doesn't matter if you're offline or not. The map will stay. But as soon as you click off, you're screwed and you don't know which way to go. Like you're in the middle of nowhere. And my internal compass, it ain't broken. It's broken.
That was me and Susanna on the way back from the vigil. We got lost in about 4 or 5 circles on the way back.
Yeah.
That was fun in the dark. Because the
I hear a chainsaw. Really... I hope it's my neighbors cutting that tree down that they let fall on my fence.
I could always have my husband go out with a machete. He's good at that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, we got. I've been on. We're going to be back around 6:37. If I'm late, don't kill Betty. I'm going to be here, but I've got errands to run. I'm going to try to be back here by 6:30. But if I'm not here, I promise you we will be live by 7 o'clock. So do not worry about it. Angela, if you got a problem with it, goodbye. If you don't like it, there's the door. Nobody's twisting your arm to be here, babe. If you haven't noticed. So anyways, guys, have a great day. God bless each and every one of you. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. I couldn't do that this morning, but I'm doing it now. Have a great day.
Out Machete Betty style.
There you go. All right, girl. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.